Hi, this is Danielle Stingle. This is my speech 3 about visual aids. I'd like to introduce you to my audience. My speech 3 is about how I trained my sons to sleep through the night. Keeping your baby on an eating schedule is one of the most important things that I found that helps them sleep through the night. When you're getting ready to have a baby, I know everyone tells you say goodbye to good night sleeps. Because at first they're right. When the baby is a newborn, they're getting acclimated to their new world outside of the womb, and they're up several times a night because they're hungry or they need a diaper. But once they get a little bit older, around 4 months, they begin to get on more of an eating and napping schedule. So I'm going to explain to you what I did, and hopefully it can help you if you're looking to get your baby to sleep through the night. The first steps that I took were getting my sons on feeding schedules when they were about 4 months old. So I was having them eat every 3 to 4 hours. And the goal is to get them to every 4 hours to have them have a full stomach. So by the end of the day, their stomachs are full and they're well fed, and that will hopefully help them sleep through the night. Another thing that I found helpful was getting them on a napping schedule and making sure they go down at the same time every day and at least 3 times a day. Make sure they're scheduled between their feeding times so they don't wake up in the middle of their nap because they're at their 4 hours and they're ready to eat. Also, keep the room light and the noise level the same so they can differentiate between night and day, because you want them to know that they're taking these naps during the day, and then when it's dark at night, that's when they sleep throughout the night. So if you keep the curtains open, if you keep the TV on, if you vacuum, just go about your day normally so that the baby can start to differentiate between day and night. I also think that it's helpful for them to do a nap time routine. What we did was when we prepared for nap time, I would feed the baby and make sure that he had a full stomach, make sure his diaper was clean, make sure he was in comfortable clothing to take a nap, and then I would also make sure he had his soothies, which could be a pacifier, a stuffed animal, a blanket, something that they keep with them in the crib that gives them a sense of safeness. This was my son's Soothie. It's a little fox rattle that he had since he was born. So every time that I would put him down for a nap, I would put this in with him, and he would suck on his ears or play with him a little bit, and it just gave him a little bit of comfort knowing that everything was okay and that this was his nap time toy. And then again, just make sure the room is light, and then your baby will be ready to take his nap. Also, as far as the nap time routine goes, what we did was self-soothing, which I think played a big part in helping our sons sleep through the night. So I want to tell you a little bit about self-soothing, which is you put the baby in the crib while they're awake. You don't rock them to sleep or feed them to sleep. You put them in the crib awake, and then if the baby starts to cry, you don't go in immediately and soothe them. You maybe wait 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. And then once you've waited that amount of time, you go in and you don't take them out of your crib. You just, you can rub their stomach, put the pacifier back in their mouth, give them their Soothie so that they know that everything's okay, but it's time to take a nap. So a really big part of it is not picking up the baby, because then every time you go in, the baby's going to be expected to be out of their crib. So if you keep them in their crib, they will know that it's nap time and they have to stay in it. So you can go in every 5 to 10 minutes. And what we did was we'd go in every 5 minutes for the first 10 minutes, and then after that we'd go in 10 minutes and then 15 minutes until the baby falls asleep. And then eventually, after a few days, the baby will know that when he cries, you're not going to go in immediately. So he or she will feel more comfortable, and that's when the self soothing begins because they can soothe themselves to go to sleep. So they might cry a little bit, but in a few minutes they will stop and they will go to sleep. So once they fall asleep, then it's mom or dad's time to relax and do whatever you needed to do during the day and take care of whatever you need to take care of because you have that little bit of break for that. And then bedtime, you just do the exact same thing. I believe a lot that routine helps. So our routine for bedtime was always dinner, bath, pajamas. We would sing a song or read a book, and then again place the baby in the crib with their soothie, and then just repeat the every 5 to 10 minutes going in, and then once they stop crying, then they'll be asleep. So as long as their belly's full and they've learned those coping mechanisms to self-soothe themselves, then in my opinion, that's what brought my boys to sleeping through the night. So I think that as long as you can stay on a routine with the baby as far as feedings and nap times, and then getting into a nap time slash bedtime routine so the baby knows that once they eat dinner, once they take a bath, then bedtime's coming. So it'll be easier to sleep train them doing those things. So thank you for listening to me.